Ian Rappaport said, and he joined us. That was what I was about to get to. Ian Rappaport joined us. He broke no news, really. He spread somebody else's news. Congrats to Fred Warner. He just got like 40-some million guaranteed, by the way, inside linebacker. That's the same position this guy played.
Yeah.
Same.
Well-deserved.
Yeah.
Absolutely well-deserved. The guy's an absolute freak and seems to be like the heartbeat of that defense right now.
Aaron said he's the best inside linebacker in the league. He said he knows him a little bit better because they train together, maybe a connection at Cal or whatever. But do you know Fred Warner, and is he one of the inside linebackers that you go like, okay, this guy's going to be the future of the NFL. This is how people are going to have to play at the inside linebacker position. And what does this mean for Darius Leonard, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Darius is obviously paying attention to this. I don't know if Ballard should be happy or not. Like, is he thinking, hey, we're going to get Darius on the cheap. Like, do they think it's going to be cheap now with this $95 million over 40 guaranteed?
Schefter put out a tweet immediately after the Fred Warner announcement contract. It said, Darius Leonard is next, and that's supposed to be around $19 million a year or something like that. We talked to Chris Ballard, and we asked him, if, hey, any of these pillar contracts about to happen. Maybe we'll see here. Like he alluded that there are negotiations happening right now. If you're Darius Leonard's team or Fred Warner's team, you two are probably, I don't want to say talking to each other, but they were probably trying to stare each other down on who goes first, who doesn't go, because now the bar is set exactly where it is. Everybody knows it. Darius Leonard goes, congratulations, my guy. Okay, great pull back there, by the way. Zito, great pull there. Massive congratulations to Darius Leonard and to Fred Warner, but I wonder if they talk to each other. What do you think? You think there's conversation between those two teams at all?
Between the teams, as in like the front office?
Agents.
Oh, agents. I don't know. Like, how does that work? I don't know. What are they allowed to do? Is there things that are tampering or giving out? Like, it's probably not common to give out like numbers on deals that you're currently working on that aren't done yet.
So when I was going to go be a free agent, there was a couple other free agent punters that were also going to become free agents, and I got text from them that was like, hey, are you close to getting your deal done, or is this going to be a long thing? And I ended up signing, I think, day before, I forget when it was. I'd never reached free agency or was ever close, but it was after the season where I was potentially going to go be a free agent, and I got some text messages from other punters, good punters, by the way, that have been around for a little bit, that I wasn't necessarily friends with. They say, hey, are you close? Like, you think you're close to getting this thing done? Because I think there's a potential that there's some places that are waiting to see what you do and then fall in line. I took that as an incredible compliment, by the way, like an absolutely incredible compliment. And I was very, very forthcoming. I was like, it seems like we're going to get something done here in like the next 2 days, but the GM doesn't necessarily love me as a human, so this could change. And by the way, at that time, it was very much reciprocated, in that entire thing. So I think we're going to get something done. Irsay had gotten involved and started like texting me a little bit, and it felt like there was going to get something done. I was very forthcoming. I wonder if Fred and Darius had that same type of conversation, because that is that is the exact situation right there. In the Niners defense, in the Colts defense, same situation. Both teams can go. Both have absolutely balled out and been incredible. I mean, it's just like, for those two to be in that position business-wise is a big benefit for both of them, I think. And I hope there was potentially maybe a little bit of intel shared between the both of them. I hope. I don't know if that's even legal, but I hope.
I mean, it depends how close they really are, I guess. If you're sharing numbers before, maybe, who knows, I guess. But now Darius, don't you think he could go and say, all right, we want 45 guaranteed and 100 mil total, and that'll bump me up a little bit from what Werner got, and we'll call it a day.
So in the same office that Ballard's in, at the same desk he's probably sitting in, I was once, a piece of paper was put on the thing and slid across to me, okay? And it was like something like, it was like out of a movie almost, like the eyes to me. If I was Darius Leonard's people, I'd walk right back into that same office, and that paper would be going the opposite direction.
Yeah.
I'd just be putting that thing down, and Ballard would just be sitting there, and it'd be like, okay, yeah, I saw it. Yeah. I texted Chris Ballard, by the way. I said, hey, I want to let you know, as we were announcing the Fred Warner deal, it was hard not to immediately congratulate Darius Leonard on the amount of money he's about to get. I just want to let you know, because when he was on, I was like, oh, biggest contract of all time. And he was like, easy. Because that's the business side of the NFL. That is like Fred Warner right now. Even if there was some maybe negative things said to each other on both sides in the pawn star like thing that happens with players between either their representation and the team. There's some negative shit that gets said, and I've actually gotten a chance to hear it because, I'm a little bit more involved in a lot of these things than maybe other people. And there's been some real shit talk. But as soon as that deal is done, man, life feels so good.
Yeah.
It's like, did I get screwed out of a couple who gives a fuck? Yeah. I got 40 million. There's that moment where Fred Warner is probably, your entire life you worked for this moment. There was probably some, now John Lynch seems to be very straightforward and Shanahan seems to be the same way, but I assume there was a little bit of anxiety maybe when you hear that you're going to get this amount of money guaranteed. What a fucking day. That happened to you. As soon as you got drafted, it was like, all right,
$100 million.
Hey, here's $500 million because you were great in high school and college. But that's what with the old CBA, that's what it was. The first 8 picks got life-changing wealth immediately upon entering the league without even playing a single down. Some guys phased out because of that. Some people could never live up to the expectation of getting more money than a lot of the veterans that were in the locker room. This guy just fucking broke all the records.
Yeah.
Attaboy, AJ!
AJ. Hey, I want to know though, Darius, was Darius and his agents, do you think they had similar thoughts for themselves and they saw this 40 guaranteed to Warner and thought, okay, hey, we were going to try to get 60. Like we're definitely still on track. Or like, what do you think I wonder where they were at if this was about what they thought was going to happen.
It would be funny to hear the brainstorming session between Darius Leonard and his people, or the presentation, and however involved Darius is. There's some guys that are very involved. There's some guys that aren't involved, depending on that. But them putting over, like, let's say they said 45 million.
Yeah.
And as soon as the number comes out 40, they're like, we told you. Like, I bet you the agents are almost doing like a victory lap. Like, we are never going to lead you astray. Okay, we told you exactly what it's going to be. We are exactly on course. What if they were wrong, though? What if they're like, we think we can get you $25 million guaranteed? And Darius sees this. He's like, who? Hey, you're fucking fired.
See you later.
Hey, 8 iron, huh? Well, you're fucking. Get out of here. Like, that would be funny to see which way that potentially went there. Go ahead, Diggs.
I just have a little tidbit. When this news came out, my brain immediately goes to gambling. You guys talked about Aaron said he's potentially the best middle linebacker in the league.
Then he and Darius had a conversation literally a week later.
Correct.
I think.
You talked about how the 49ers are probably going to be good. The defense is going to be that team. Plus 9,000. He's the 30th best odds to win Defensive Player of the Year. If you put $25 down like I did, you could win almost $2,300 potentially. It's good value.
Shout out. That's why you always have a degenerate Italian around to get money on that type of situation. Connor, what were you going to say?
Well, I was going to say you got to be pumped for Darius strictly because he's going to be the top dog. I mean, with what happened with Trent Williams after the Bakhtiari deal, he's going to get 40 and $10,000 just to be that top guy ahead of.
Or
Warner.
it might be the same. Like, it won't be less than that.
No way.
So that's it won't be less than that. That plus 9,000 as he was explaining that, I was thinking about that. That's a lot of $25 for how much?
To win $22.75, I believe it is.
Okay.
That's on FanDuel Sportsbook right now. Futures,
NFL futures, player props, NFL defense player of the year.
Last linebacker was Kuechly.
Yes,
but Pat, do you really think? Are you capable of placing a futures bet? You have no idea 9 months from now that you placed a bet.
Yeah,
what's this guy?
What are you talking about? He must forget about the NFL season.
Bro, and also, whenever a archaic bet shows up in your settled and it has a fucking green thing on, it's like, of course I'm from the future, dude.
Nostradamus.
What are we doing here? It's a good time. Now, the live betting is obviously become my thing. Like right before I get a little vibe, I'm hot right now. Not as hot as the Hammer Down Boys, and the Hammer Down Boys are mostly the reason why I'm hot right now. So the information that they leak through their mouths, either off air or on air, kind of gives me the thing. I am not a futures bettor, but when you get something at plus 9,000 and the guy just got paid the biggest contract in history, you can look at that a couple different ways. When you get paid that much money, and I assume this is how Fred Warner is, John Lynch, this is why he paid him. Now it's like, okay, let me go show everybody why I just got paid what I got paid. It's almost like
let me prove them right. Let me prove John Lynch right that hey, you were correct in paying me all this money.